Hello and welcome to episode 177 of the 77 Club 77777. Harry, start with socials.
Hold on, we're in the wrong order. It don't matter. The Wall 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram. Also, a new thing on Spotify. You can 5-star rate us on there now, so please do that. Yes, and please subscribe and like everywhere else.
1-star rate us as well.
They can, so do that as well.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah. Jack Williams is here.
Hi, everybody.
And Dan Bayliss.
Hello, everyone.
So it's into the fourth round of the FA Cup for Wolves. 3-0 win over Sheffield United. Wolves just love winning 3-0 against Sheffield United. Harry, it was a pretty strong starting 11 from Wolves. Thoughts on that to begin with?
Yeah, we said, didn't we, last week? I remember us saying we were trying to predict it, Will Sanderson and that play, and I thought he'd go strong, and he did really. We knew Fabio and Ruddy would come in. Dendoncker was midfield, wasn't he? And Marcel was the one that Jack predicted that, didn't he? That Marcel would go left centre back. So, yeah, it was a really strong team, really, considering. I thought he might have gone slightly weaker, but I'm happy he went strong. And in the end, after a few shaky moments early on, it was a comfortable win, wasn't it?
Start for Adama Traore, Jack.
Yes, he didn't do much, did he? Let's be honest. After all the hype and the
very consistent.
like for weeks, we've been saying that Adama should be starting. Interesting that he started this game. If he is going to move this month to a Premier League rival, and the fact that he would now be cup tied for the rest of this competition, maybe that was part of the thinking. I don't know, but yeah, he was quiet, wasn't he? Really, let's be honest. I think Podence was definitely the outstanding winger of the day. Played really well, but yeah, a quiet one from Adama, really. You just get these games sometimes, like where it seems that either he's a bit disinterested and he can't really string a pass together. But so yeah, not a very good one by his standards, or I don't know, maybe he struggles to get excited by the opposition we're playing or something like that, really. But yeah, it was one of those that afterwards, because obviously there's been so much talk about Adama Traore, and coupling it with that performance in the Cup, there was always going to be controversy on Twitter after, with people either saying, just let him go, blah, 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 he's not interested, or other people who were sort of fighting his corner a bit more. But I was very happy overall with how strong the team was. I echo sort of Harry's sentiments there. It was interesting to see that Marcel was played in defence for the first half, and then he switched to Dendoncker in the second half. But to be fair, the way the game sort of opened up, I thought Sheffield United did quite well, and we were quite lucky, really, not to concede a goal, because they created a few good opportunities, and it could have panned out very differently the whole game, really, if they had scored one of those. They had a good chance earlier on that was cleared off the line by Cody, I think it was. Then they had a goal disallowed, which could have easily stood on another day, to be honest. So they did create chances, particularly in the first half, and we did have to weather the storm and ride our luck a little bit there. But I think second half display was quite convincing, really, and overall it was a sort of win, and maybe the scoreline you'd want us to do against what are a mid-table championship team this year.
Bayliss, it's strange for Wolves to score that many goals in the same game. It was against lesser opposition, to be fair. They are in the championship, but they're doing well in the championship. Jack mentioned him then, Daniel Podence. He was my unpopular opinion of the week last week when I said he's better than Jota. Do you think we're now starting to see a Daniel Podence that is getting almost to his full potential?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, lower league opposition, so I'd like to see him start doing it in the league more, but he's looked pretty good of late, so let's give him time and see if he comes on and gets some goals in the Premier League as well. I think the scoreline probably didn't reflect the match on the first half, but Wolves did show their dominance in the end, so you got to sort of give it to us. The way we passed the ball looked fantastic. Yes, we were able to open them up. Yes, they are not the quality of a Premier League outfit, but you can only beat what's in front of you, I suppose. And we did
it's one of those, yeah. And it's one of those, isn't it, where sometimes you can get frustrated down that right-hand side when it gets passed back to the goalkeeper. But in fairness, the way that move started for the right wing back that scored in this game, can never remember his name, was brilliant from Matinho. Turned on a sixpence, didn't he? Podence putting it through, and thereon was just a fantastically worked goal.
Do you know what the point is? I know we're going to obviously have a laugh at it eventually. But do you know what the point is of that goal? Is that we need to score more bloody tap-ins. We need more balls that are 80, 90% certain goals. And we haven't seen many of those this year. So the fact that we managed to open a team up, get so much width and space to have one free man in front of goal, that's what we need to do more often. And we're going to go... There are two trains of thought of low league opposition, so it's easier to open them up, or that's how Wolves should be playing football. But in my opinion, that is exactly what you want to see from wing-backs. The fact that both of them got down the wing and created chances is what we need to do against the better opposition. So if we can go down, if we now open up Southampton like that on Saturday, I will stand and applaud because that's how you should play football with wing backs. That's exactly how you should play it.
Was it a tap-in? You think you're playing down the finish a bit there?
Sorry, I said 80 to 90% certain chance of a goal. You
mean squaring across the
if you are running into the box and you've got no defender on you and just the goalkeeper to beat, then you've got a good chance of scoring it, haven't you?
Jack, I think you made the point when you said, yeah, that's true. When you said that, did anyone else think that he'd skied it? I thought he skied it. I did. I was waiting for the clock to fall off.
As soon as he hit it, I thought, you're not expecting it to go that high, sort of into the roof of the net at the corner, are you? But looking back, it was a brilliant finish. It's I hope he can find those sort of shooting boots for some of the chances he's had in the Premier League, really, because I know Dan gives him some grief and we defend him quite a lot, but I think we can probably all agree that he probably should have scored more goals than he has because he's had chances. A lot of the time they just seem to either go straight at the keeper or miss the target. So it was nice to see him absolutely bury one, really. Maybe again, partly because the pressure's off against the opposition, but it was just nice to see. I agree, nice to see them linked up. And I think that ball from Podence to play it was superb. You've got to give him credit for that. That was absolutely... Didn't see Jota ever do that, did you? I'm sure you
not enough. Not nearly enough.
Not for us.
No. In the FA Cup, though, to be fair. Harry, Fabio Silva, a big shout out to him again. He seems to really be coming into his own. And, A, it's about time, but B, it's just good that it's happening.
Yeah, fair play to him because I know he came on against United, didn't we sang his praises last week and he impressed for that 10 minutes. And then he took his chance again, really, hasn't he? He didn't score, did he? But he set up the first goal, played well. I know Raul eventually did come on for him, but that's what we want from him, isn't it? We want him to be playing like that so Raul can look over his shoulder and have a bit of a healthy competition. And if he can continue doing this, then, we don't need to get a striker, do we? Because if he plays like that consistently, he's probably good enough to be a backup Premier League striker, even at his young, tender age.
He is, but he needs a haircut. I'm sorry. He just needs it. Well, I think it would help with his awareness. His spatial awareness would just be improved demonstrably.
You're saying you think that Fabio's long hair hinders his peripheral vision?
Correct.
Like
yes, that is my argument, and that's probably being kind to Fabio there.
Can I make a point? Is this not exactly the standard he needs to be playing at week in, week out to get better?
Good point.
And therefore send him out on loan to the Championship.
I agree with that, and that's such a really good point that was going to bring up actually, because I think it just write down a date, because it did seem to me that sending him to the Championship meant he was going to get kicked in the air, but that wasn't really the case, was it, Harry? When we saw him in this game, he just seemed to fit in well, and almost like a team like a Fulham or someone like that that plays good, attractive, attacking football would actually do him the world of good. But then on the flip side, you're saying that, hang on, there's a backup striker in him.
Yeah, but also I think Bayliss is pushing ahead at this point because Semedo scored, but that's back to another time.
Topic of conversation.
Look, we struggled a little bit for the first 5-10 minutes when they had those few chances. That they obviously mixed their team up a bit, but they had a bit of a go, and I thought it was a professional performance. And people are really happy with the way we played, happy with the way Fabio played, happy with the way the Podence played. But you have got to remember they are mid-table in the Championship, and we had a lot more space and time on the ball. It was so evident, wasn't it, compared to teams we play in the Premier League? But we beat what was in front of us. So what can you do? And obviously, the best right wing back we've had in my lifetime got a goal, so it's quite a good day actually.
I don't think you can really fault Fabio for his last two performances, for the Man United cameo and then for the Sheffield United game. Both of them, he really sort of proved himself, and maybe it's taken a bit of time under Bruno for him to actually work his way back into his plans and learn his ideas and develop. But based on those two performances, I agree, and it is just two performances. I don't want to get carried away, especially when I think we all on this pod have doubted him in his short spell here at Wolves. But yeah, I've got no problem with Fabio being the second string striker if he comes on and plays like he has in those last two games. But I think the key thing for me, particularly even against Man United in the Premier League, is that he wasn't getting out muscled. I think he has bulked up a bit, particularly during the summer. You've seen that, and now I think we're starting to see it, because that'd also be the worry against Sheffield United. But I suppose the other thing to mention is, though, I know we're getting carried away here, but Sheffield United's defence was pretty poor. There was a lot of errors that actually led up to some of our chances. So a few of the things, it was pouncing on their mistakes rather than us actually being super creative. And I know from reading their comments after the game, they put it down to a few individual errors and their mistakes as to why it was a 3-0 and not a 1-0, which is fair enough. But the game did have a real cup tie feel about it, particularly for the first half. I think if it had been like 2-2 at half time, we probably couldn't really have complained either way. It's a shame Fabio's lob didn't go in because he did everything right there, didn't he? It just fell the other side
I
of the
forgot
post.
about that chance. Yeah.
But overall, yeah, particularly with some of the results that we're flying around at the weekend with lower league teams knocking out Premier League teams and Championship teams, we got through it 3-0. You can't moan, really. That's exactly what you want from FA Cup third round. So overall, very happy. I did prefer the second half when Dendoncker was at the back rather than Marcel.
Ollie's just said
I say Ollie in the comments says, Donk in the back three, thoughts?
Yeah, was it a coincidence that Sace is not here and suddenly for the first 15, 20 minutes, the defence looks ropey for the first time in weeks? Maybe. And I do agree Marcel just looks a bit short, and I just, with Dendoncker there and Kilman playing on his the side of his actual foot, I just preferred it. There's a bit more height there. So I think that would be ideally the way I'd like to go forward, but we'll see.
Be interesting. Bayliss, was there a man of the match?
I think it has to be Pedence on
great
of
shout
what he did. But that's the thing. We were very good in spells, but it's one of those games where you should be, maybe, given who we were playing against in their team.
We could have easily slipped up, though, couldn't we?
We weren't playing Choi, were we?
Yeah, we did the job brilliantly well. It's
Premier League side
weird games where you just sort of... We got through it as best we possibly could and probably gave away a bit more than we should have. I think what I'd like to see is that team play against Southampton on Saturday and judge it on its merits then, because they've just had a good result. So it'd be really interesting to see what that team can do against a better opposition.
Jack, man of the match.
Yeah, you can't really see past Podence really for his goal, and then that pass that led to Semedo's goal. Superb, really. Yeah, he's done very well lately. And I see that there's people flying around and people sort of asking whether he should start playing a bit more centrally, but I don't know about that, but we'll see.
Just while we're on the point, when was the last time you saw a cross into the box that bent round the defenders, the keeper couldn't cut it out, and it fell to a Wolves player to smash in the net?
Good question.
Don't know. I mean, whenever Traore crosses it, it just ends up on the other side of the pitch for a throw-in.
It was a shock he started, by the way, wasn't it? Don't you think? We all thought he was.
I was shocked, yeah. Well, I think they may have done just a little bit of shithousery with Tottenham, to be honest, which is quite funny. Harry, do you have a clean sweep of Daniel Pedence's?
No, John Ruddy. To me.
Outrageous behaviour.
I'm joking, obviously, Pedence.
Right, okay, let's concentrate then back on Premier League action. Southampton. Harry, they've just been taken over for about the same price as Jack Grealish, which if that doesn't show you that the game is completely fucking broken, then I don't know what does. But then again, they've got Neos behind them. They had a good time last time out. Was it a 4-1 win against Brentford? Yeah, at home. So they seem to be flying high. They're 11th in the league, which I didn't realise. So is this a good or bad time to be playing Southampton?
Probably slightly a bad time because, as you mentioned, new owners, great result against Brentford. I know we beat them last time out, and I remember that game being like a really poor quality game, wasn't it? They were crap. We weren't the best on the day, but we got the win. And it's a huge game, really. If we win, all of a sudden, momentum's going well. We've beat United, won in the FA Cup. People are happy again. And we could be, a couple of points off top 6, is it? Something like that. I think we're 5 points off Spurs at the moment. So huge game. And it's a game the fans would expect us to win. It's a game I think we should win, but classic Wolves. Will it be that straightforward? Probably not.
Probably not. I mean, I think it's Tottenham have got a game in hand, haven't they? But we've played a game less than Liverpool, Arsenal and West Ham. And that obviously 3 points behind Manchester United. So, Jack, it looks like it's going to be Marcel at the back 3 on that left-hand side. I think I don't know if he would have... I don't know. What do you think?
I think it'd be Dendoncker because I think it just looks a lot more solid second half, to be honest. I know some people...
Is he injured, Marcel?
Question about him.
He probably. Niggle. Niggle.
It's getting cold. It's cold now, isn't it? So,
that's true. Yeah, sure. Just get night gloves on.
But I think there's reluctance to play Donk there because then we have Jordao to bring on in midfield, and that's it, don't we? So it's not ideal anyway you look at it, is it really? But I personally would prefer Dendoncker playing there, but it's just for the height as well, really. Just because I do think it's better to have a big, taller player in there. But we'll see. Really, it could be either or. But But I think it's going to be a tough game. As you said, Southampton are doing well. They seem to be sneaking slowly up the table. And it's one of these where you look at the table. I know we're constantly looking up and thinking, oh, just if we win this, we'll only be this many points off this many. But if we lose it, then we're just looking behind ourselves again because it's all quite neatly bunched up in the middle, where 2 or 3 decent results or bad results either way means you could end up between 8th and probably about 13th quite quickly. So it's a game where we've got some expectation. It's a game where we want to just see a performance. We've had decent performances lately, so there's no reason why we shouldn't. But I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up in a draw, to be honest, because it's one of them, isn't it?
Bayliss, what's the front 3 going to look like?
Wow. Raul Podence.
Wow.
Raul Podence and one other. I mean, Trincão's done sod all, hasn't he? So that makes it difficult. Adama looks like he doesn't want to be there, to be honest.
Fabio?
And on crutches.
Might have to be.
It's going to be, it'll be Trincão, won't it?
Do you think he'll drop Traore, Harry?
No. I think he'll start him. I think he'll start him just because he came on and did okay against Man United in the league. And he was okay, Trincão, but I think he'll start Adama with Raul. That's an interesting point in the chat, by the way. Paul said, do you think he'll put Kilman on the left and Sanderson on the right? The fact that Sanderson didn't feature in the Cup makes me think he's not even in
especially when you win 3-0 as well. Yeah, I think it would have been a perfect opportunity, wouldn't it?
It will be Donk, like Jack said. It'll be Donk.
The problem is with all these players who've come back from being on loan is if they play for us, they can't go back out on loan to a different club. They have to go back to the same place because the rule where you can only play for 2 teams in the same season. So I think they'll be very conservative with those and only do them if they have to, because I'd imagine the long-term goal is to still probably send a lot of these back out on loan at the end of January. So I think they are just there as emergency cover, particularly if they do have further loan moves in mind, whether they go back to the clubs they came from or go back to a new club. It gives them more options then, doesn't it? So I think that's probably why they're being conservative with playing these players like Giles and Sanderson. But we will see. We will see. I mean, if you're going purely on form, looking at who should start up front, then really, I would say it's probably got to be Podence, Trincão, and Fabio.
He said it.
Podence, Trincão,
he said it.
That's it. If you look at in the last couple of games, Fabio has done more than Jimenez in the last 2 games.
Get cancelled.
But yeah, Trincão.
Half a Mexico on the back.
What did Traore do the other day?
He was bad against Sheffield United.
Nothing.
Gotta be said.
Absolutely nothing. And Trincão, who I know gets a lot of stick, but I thought he was okay against Man United. So ideally, I know
Rod Castle's laughing.
But
in fairness, Jimenez looked out of sorts against Manchester United. He looked better against Sheffield United, but I mean, it's just a completely different kettle of fish, isn't it, when you look in the Premier League and stuff? Let's do a score prediction, Bayliss.
2-1 Wolves.
Wow. Harry.
2-0 Wolves. I think we're on a run now, aren't we? I think we're going to get another comfortable one, another clean sheet, which is vital too, even without the magic man that says.
Jack?
1 each.
1 each. I'm going to go 2-1 Wolves. Let's get your latest betting odds and ticket news.
Yeah, betting fans, if there's any left. The boosts are up, so there are some decent odds out there. I've just picked a selection of a couple. I quite like Neves 1-0 Wolves 30-1. It's a decent price. You can hedge your bet as well. Podence to score first, and then either 2-1 Wolves or a 1-1 draw 25-1. It's quite good double chance sort of thing. Mm-hmm. The boosted odd is quite a good one. It's Jimenez to score first, 2-1 Wolves, 66-1.
Oh, fancy that.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
And then Semedo to score first, 3-1 Wolves.
Oh my God, hold on, Bayliss, before you carry on. It's the first time in about 6 games I haven't had Semedo to score any time. He fucking scored.
No. Never.
I've had a fiver on every week. He's obviously in the Premier League, he's usually about 28-1. He probably would have been a bit lower against Sheffield United. Yeah, it would have been about 15. But still, I just don't put it on. And he bloody scored.
Harry Mantle betting, that is.
That's typical.
3-1 Semedo first goal is 325-1.
That is short compared to the thousands that we've been experiencing in previous weeks. And does that complete the betting news, or are you looking at bidding on a cricket bat on eBay? Is that what's going on?
I'm still talking to a friend about a cricket bat I want to buy.
Save that for after, mate.
Sorry, is this an inconvenience for you?
To be fair, we are 20 minutes late. My bad.
We were very late, and I need some wood.
That's what she said. Old ones are the best. That's what she said. Is that it? That is it. Yeah, excellent. Yes.
Unless
Wait, it's not finished.
No one in the comments has done the usual. Oh, can I have whatever one or?
It's not requested.
Bloody is.
Jack has your ticket.
Yeah, there's really not very much to say. Really, there's a couple of singles I think knocking about for Southampton on Saturday. The Arsenal home game, which is a 8:15 kickoff on a Thursday night. God, like 10th of February. That goes on sale to the members tomorrow, and that's already quite low tickets after the membership plus sales. In terms of away games, there's nothing. Brentford has been taken off the website now because they're doing a ballot for the remaining tickets after the away season tickets because it's just such a tiny capacity. And even when I looked online, I think there was only about 20 tickets left. So God knows how many is going to be in that ballot. I'll let you know if I do get one.
One thing on that, I thought it was quite funny that somebody on Twitter had put as a joke that he had 4 Brentford tickets available for 450 quid and everyone was kicking off. He was like, it's a joke, get a gold away season ticket and you'll be able to do the same joke.
It's very funny. And like this is really the maths don't quite add up because I think there's 1,500 away season ticket holders and the allocation was 1,600 and something. So obviously the club have taken a few tickets off that as well. If
Mr. Miami gets 100 apparently. That's what
we're saying. And now basically what it is Mr. Miami is going to be sat there and people who are in similar
with his bags on the seat. I always have a ticket for my bags.
Yeah.
Just him.
Oh, and that
single jelly babies from his ticket all along the seat.
And it's one of those things where it's never really bothered me before, but now it could potentially directly impact
now
me.
It's affecting you.
It's an outrage. But that's how it works. That's how it works in politics. But so
by the way,
there's going to be gone.
Are we on about Brentford still? Sorry.
Yeah.
So I wish none of us are going, are we? If we don't get a ticket, obviously.
No.
We're going to be in the program, the Brentford program. We've got to try and get someone to buy one. Yeah.
Why?
Like, just they got in touch and we're doing like their little away perspective of the program. I know programs are like
Harry, you've written a piece, haven't you?
Yeah, but fuck me, you know what I'm like writing, lads. You know what I'm like. I said to the bloke, I said, sorry about the punctuation. If you sort that out for me, but I tried my best.
How many times did you put sucker your nana?
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is, I know no one reads programs anymore, or even buys them. But if you are going and you are listening to this, just buy the program, please, and have a look.
Buy the program and send it in. PO box. Have we got a PO box?
The spelling will be a bit bad. It looked like a 4-year-old wrote the thing, but just have a go.
Oh yeah, I'll get someone to buy one so we can have a look anyway. Obviously, because my usual crew are going.
I'll get one.
So I'll get them to pick up some up for me.
One of the questions in it was which Brentford player would you have, and I obviously said Tony. To shreds. You don't need to buy it now. That was the exclusive.
That was.
Did they get a picture of you?
Yeah, I had to send one. I was like
that. Nice boy face.
Thumbs up.
Nice boy smile. Jack, sorry, carry on.
That's basically it. There's nothing more to say, but just Brentford tickets are going to be gold dust, and I'll let you know if I have any success in the ballot, but I'm not holding my breath.
Perfect. Okay. Let's have a look at the January transfer window. Obviously, so much activity of incomings for Wolves. Nat, Harry, there was a tweet earlier saying that Willy Bolly was on the bench for the Ivory Coast, but that was a joke by the Ivory Coast, I understand.
Yeah. Is that part of the transfer news? No, to be fair, there's also...
Look, he's been linked with a move away, I was saying that he could be offloaded.
So that's the new rumour that Bolly might be going, which we keep saying. It's so weird what's gone on with him. We don't know if he's got long COVID. He don't seem to be in Bruno's plans to start for us, does he? He always needs to be injured with something. So for him to go, I assume he'll pass a medical, they think, if they will sell him, but else he can't go, obviously. Obviously, we've got that Kawabe in, the Japan man, who I thought might feature in the Cup. It is Kawabe in it. Am I saying that right?
Oh, yeah, he's going straight back to Grasshoppers, isn't he?
Yeah, so there's another weird Fosun thing where they've signed someone and we don't know what's going on. But
apart from laundering, that is, isn't it? That's what it
is. It feels like. But there's not much to report, is there, really? But obviously, Traore's linked with Spurs every day and Chelsea. But
the latest one was it in the Telegraph about a loan to buy or something that Wolves wanted 20 million. It's mad, isn't it? I mean, you're not going back that far when you're thinking a turn down potential £50 million bids, and now you're looking at between 18 and 20 million, and it's just. What do you think will happen, Bayliss, with your crystal ball?
I think he will go, only because we're not going to sign him for 120 grand a week. I'd rather he went out of the country, to be honest, because on his day he can
It's a bit harsh. No one get out of the country.
We don't want
to.
Sorry, you know what I mean. Apparently,
I
there's
mean,
been bids from Barcelona. No, what it actually is Priti Patel is now running the transfers at Wolves.
Yeah, get transfers done.
Do
you
know what I mean, though? Like, get him away from the Prem.
Do you think he's worth that kind of money anywhere? Do you think anywhere's going to pay him that? Because he's going to if he moves to Spurs, he'll most likely be an impact player, which is what he really should be at Wolves. So it must come down to money. Jack, do you think he's going to be a well-paid player at Tottenham in the realms of football, obviously, because he's on minimum wage?
I think Tottenham are still paying Dele Alli $200,000 a week as we speak. So I think it's feasible that he could probably get what he wants in terms of wage demands. The transfer fee keeps being thrown around at 20 million. What did we sign him for? 18. And it's not really
it's
a big
16 to 18, yeah.
I know, 18 million rings with the amount of contract he's got left. But then you're thinking Chris Wood's just gone for 25 million to Newcastle. And to be honest, with the whole transfer window, I'm just sick of it already. It's the 12th of January. I've had enough of it. I'd rather they just wrap it up quickly because all you're going to hear until the very death is. And at the moment, I still don't think there's too much in the Adama Traore to Spurs rumours. This will be silly next week when he's gone.
But there has to be an impasse, though, doesn't it? Because there is 18 months left on his contract. Something has to happen. And Harry, we talk about Fosun being an investment firm and doing things for the money and long-term vision and stuff. So something has got to give. So they've either got to pay him what he wants, or they've got to ship him. Otherwise, the value just incrementally goes down minute by minute.
Unless he does something unbelievable on telly.
Yeah, but do you know what? I get the feeling I get the feeling he just leaves everything to his agents and that. Because you do see that picture, I can't remember if it's on Twitter or Facebook, a fan put like a selfie on with Traore, and the caption was, "I've just saw Traore, I asked him if he's staying, he said I don't know." So he ain't saying definitely yes. So, but I think he'd be willing to stay. But he's obviously his representatives, maybe him, think he should be a highest paid player, but we all know he shouldn't be. And if he does get his move, he will be on the money he probably wants to be on. Will he be willing to be a bench player at an upgraded club? Maybe. But I personally want to see him stay.
You've got to perform, though, haven't you?
Is it about the money, though? Because obviously he might be on similar money at Tottenham, but it's the fact that he wants to be the highest paid player, doesn't it? And that just makes you whatever the...
Normally your highest paid player has to be your best.
Does he want to be the highest paid? Where's that come from? Or did he just want to be one of the highest?
He wants to be one of them. I don't know about the current wage structure. I always got in my head that Coutinho's on about $100,000 a week, and that's probably about the top of it. So I'd imagine he probably wants something similar to that, which I don't think is... If it signs a new long-term deal, I actually don't really mind paying him that. But I'm guessing there's reluctancy from somewhere because I don't know how much they're paying Neves. If they're paying Neves $60,000 a week still, that's not right, is it? So it just is this chain of events then of everyone else want to renegotiate their contract? Maybe
$100,000 a week for Coutinho is brilliant, but you could have Coutinho on Mondays and Tuesdays for that money. So that's amazing.
Half the week.
Amazing.
That's what I mean about his transfer window. I've just had enough of it already. Like it's just like
I think you sent, was it Dina that's going to? Well, it's moved to Villa or is looking to move to Villa, and you're like, this needs to stop now.
They're doing some business, aren't they? Like, it's a weird with Villa. They're doing some business. Fair play to them, but
classic Gerrard.
And don't get me wrong, I don't want to sound like an idiot here because if Wolves were doing those signings, I'd be like on cloud nine. But it does have a little hint of Everton about it, doesn't it? Signing players who are past their best on big money, who could come in and go either way. Really, it could be a James Rodriguez or
that'll be a hit.
So. It's a bit of a risk involved, but only time will tell, won't it, really? But you can't say they're not going for it and doing some investing. And they must have deep pockets.
It's true. I mean, it's the whole theatre of the transfer window, isn't it? That's what everybody like. I can't really. Was it like 2011 when it was absolutely mental? When it was it like Van der Vaart was getting pulled in by Redknapp and wheeling and dealing and stuff, and it was like that's what made it the big thing. Like. And then ever since, every window since has been like this big countdown to the 31st, and it's just like big dank squib.
Yeah, because
no Harry Redknapp dangling out of a Range Rover. It's not the same.
But people have learned now that it's foolish to do their business, haven't they? But the glory days you have about 10 years ago when you transfers like Robinho and people are getting dildos in their ears on Sky Sports. That's those
are the days.
The purple dildo.
Not one dildo this time round. I can't believe what's the world coming to, and there's not even one dildo on transfer deadline.
But do you think? Did we do a podcast before or after last week when Scott Sellers released his little statement, didn't he? So,
yeah, I think we did last week.
pretty much confirming what John Percy said in the Telegraph interview, wasn't it? But so I think all Wolves fans' expectations have got to be low for this window. Unfortunately, we'd love to sign a couple, wouldn't we? But the fact they're bringing these loans back already, and Jordao returned in the cup and come on, we've got Neto and that to come back towards the end of the month, haven't we? Maybe Yerson.
I think that's the hope I have, is that I would rather, like I said last week, I'd rather have Neto and Johnny back, and obviously Bolly, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. And I think that would work out as a good period of time that is January, rather than a good January transfer window, if that makes sense.
I think it's lucky we're doing well. We're lucky we've had a good run, or else if we'd have lost 4 on the bounce, the fans, everyone would have been Twitter's in meltdown anyway.
I'm still optimistic that they're trying, and I think we might get 1, maybe 2. Who knows? Because there are. It's not as if we're completely quiet. There are rumours popping up about Wolves are interested in this and this and this. I don't think it's going to be a big name signing. It's not going to be Coutinho or anything, but I think the squad is too small, so we do need, ideally, particularly if Bolly does go or Adama does go, then we need to replace them. We can't leave January with a smaller squad than we had at the start of January, when we had a too smaller squad there at the start anyway. It's like that's screwing Bruno over, that is. So
we're 2 more injuries away from really being in the shit.
Agree. I think we even one injury to a first team player, and because we're filling gaps at the moment, aren't we, with Dendoncker and Sace, and then Jack's making the point about Jordão's the only real person that can come into the centre midfield, and then you're like, well, after that.
Yeah, I mean, at least we can just postpone our games then, because you can do what you like these days.
If you'd have told me in the summer, if you'd have told me in the summer, come January, we'd all have been gutted that Sace has gone to the AFCON and we miss him, I'd laugh. I thought he was finished. I thought he was done for.
No, he's Moroccan. He's not finished.
Yeah, he's
one point I always wanted to ask you on, and it was brought up, I think, on TalkSport this week, because in the Villa Manchester United game, with how long VAR took, it was something like 3.5 minutes or something. And obviously, everyone in the stadium watching the game didn't know what was going on. And they said, "Do you think there should be a time limit on VAR?" Now, Bayliss, how does it work in cricket? Because you've got a certain amount of time to say that you want to go to the
you want to review, and then 3 reviews.
And then but there's no time limit, is there?
What, on them actually making the call? Well, no, but it's pretty obvious using the tech. You get the odd one, or you can't tell.
Yeah. But do you think it should be timed, Harry? Do you think there should be a time limit, or I think
on VAR?
Yeah, the Premier League is saying that we'd rather be accurate, and obviously they've done really well with that so far.
Yeah, I've maybe, but the ones that drag out and take forever always seem to be the ones that overturn, don't they? I don't know if you notice. Like,
yeah,
any long decision,
longer it goes on.
You're like, they're changing this, yeah. So maybe.
I didn't see it live. But it did look a disgrace for that Villa one, really, because it seemed like the reason they brought the ref over was to see whether, I don't know which player it was, but whether the player made contact with the ball, which would have then made Danny Ings offside. And the ref goes over to the monitor and finds something else, and then doesn't look at the thing they were checking. And then it just seems like they were just looking to try and disallow the goal, really. And
they do that in rugby, though. They can look at different things, can't they?
Yeah, I suppose so. But it did seem like a bit of a farce, to be honest. But I didn't watch it.
We're ruining the sport.
I don't know. I saw it back.
We're Americanizing the sport, and it's going to ruin it.
Do you know how long the average time of a VAR check is?
2 minutes.
2 seconds.
Go on, hang on, Harry, you go first. What was that? 2 minutes?
I said 2 minutes, yeah.
But... Jack, how long do you reckon?
This might be some propaganda here, but does this include the ones that don't stop the game, the ones they do really quickly? Because I'm going to go.
Oh, that's good.
It's going to be really low, and we're going to say the average one only takes 15 seconds.
No, full VAR review with an overturned decision. So adding that into a mix.
90 seconds.
9 seconds. Bayliss?
48 seconds.
It is. Oh, you got me wrong around. It's 84 seconds, apparently, according to ESPN.com.
Very close, Jack.
There you go. Yeah, not too bad. Excellent. Was anybody else got any pressing business?
Yeah, I just want to talk about it because I'm guessing some people will have seen it and some people won't, and that's the African
private
nations.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, you're going to say about this. Yeah.
If anyone hasn't seen it, it's worth a watch. I just watched the highlights of it earlier, but the Mali against Tunisia game was a bit of a refereeing farce, really, because Tunisia are chasing the game and the referee blows for full time on the 84 minutes. He's obviously got confused or his watch has gone wrong or something. So the Tunisian players and the coach just start going mental and everyone starts kicking off with the fourth official. So they get them back out to play. And then the ref blows full time again on 89 minutes, so he's still not got his watch right. And it all kicks off again, but he says, no, it's full time. The players all go back into the tunnel. And eventually they say, no, they're going to play again. The fourth official is going to come out and we're going to play the remaining, because there've been VAR checks and everything. There should have been a minute left to play plus about 4 minutes added time, which they just blew for. And they got the Mali players out. The Mali were winning 1-0. They eventually decided to come out, and the Tunisian players said, no, stuff it, we're not going to bother. So the team chasing the game eventually, because it was such a joke, just said no.
I mean, this is
God knows what's going to come of that, but it was ridiculous.
But if you notice in the press and a lot on social media, there's not enough coverage of the African Cup of Nations. It's a top tournament, and it might be seen as slightly wrong that we don't give it enough time. And then this sort of thing happens, you think.
And they blow the whistle on 84 minutes.
I'm just waiting now, because Mike Dean will be sat at home watching that thinking, oh, hang on. Let's
try this one. What did Seb say? Peter Walton said he agreed with the Yes, just guys, I agree with that one. I mean, they wanted to get home early.
Other than the Euros and the Copa America, are all the other events nonsense? Do you think?
Well, the World Cup?
No, sorry, yeah, World Cup aside, but out of the continental.
Oh, sorry, you mean sorry.
Euros is great.
Continent.
Yeah, but
Copa America is pretty good. The rest are
Gold Cup, is the Gold Cup any good?
That's horses.
If you support one of the African teams, though, you're going to love it, aren't you? Let's be honest. It's because we're not in it.
I know, but it's just the quality and the I guess the prestige of it, and we get to watch it, and we've got an interest in the Euros. But still, it every game I've watched in the AFCON hasn't been.
It was always a little bit more interesting because there seemed to be more Premier League players in maybe 10 years ago when you had your Drogbas and Estiens and that sort of caliber of players, but there just doesn't seem to be that standard of player there anymore.
Maybe we hate it because we always get players took off us every January, every few years. Maybe that's why we hate it.
True. Well, it's fucked us over this time, isn't it? Like,
one more thing to add, Sam, before we leave.
One more thing.
I have titled this episode, Can Wolves Win the FA Cup? We spoke about the game, but we haven't spoke about the fact.
We haven't spoke about the draw, actually, have we?
No, we haven't spoken about the Norwich draw.
No, that's true.
I think I was watching the draw, and firstly, when the numbers come out and you try and see the number on it, I thought we got Arias. I thought that's 25, that is. And I thought we got Kiddie, because we'd spoken about it quite a lot, really. But we didn't. And we just missed Man City and ended up with Norwich at home. So we got to be happy with that, really.
You say she dropped the ball or something, or someone dropped it?
Oh, just pulling it out.
Fumbled it.
Yeah, fumbled it a little bit. So it helped. So we just dodged away at Man City, which I was quite pleased with. And Man City get their normal tie against lower league opposition at home. So everyone was happy. But can we win the FA Cup? I think if the draw is favourable, we can go relatively far again, particularly with our defence. The only teams I'm scared of, if I'm brutally honest, are Liverpool and Man City. Apart from that, I'm not really too fussed about anybody. Obviously, Chelsea is the other one, but like Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham, on our day, we can beat them, particularly I think in front of a home crowd. So who knows? If we keep our defence solid, we've got a chance to do quite well. But let's see how we get on against Norwich first.
Bailey's, can Wolves win the FA Cup?
Yeah, I think we can actually. I really enjoy a cup run, and Norwich are no great shakes, and will play a changed team, I guess, scrapping to stay up. So common sense, not even arrogance, common sense would say we're going to get past them.
Harry, I reckon we could win the FA Cup, and we'd be absolutely fine if we had that referee from the AFCON at Wembley, because we'd have been blown up at 2-1. Absolutely fine. That's what we need.
Tell you what, if I had Bernard's watch and I could freeze time and go back, mate, that's the first thing I'd do. Look at that ref. Blow the whistle on the 77th minute.
Okay, here's one for you then, guys. If you said Wolves could now finish 12th, miles away from Europa, but we win the FA Cup, do you take it?
Yeah, because we're getting to Europe by winning the FA Cup.
Winning the FA Cup, I'd cry like a baby if we won the FA Cup.
I think I might have a week off work afterwards.
100%.
7-day bender, 100% in London.
Pulling us out.
Would you have a drink
us out the bloody fountain, wouldn't they?
I'll be in underwear for a week. The body of a 31-year-old man.
I know
it's probably 31-year-old man.
It's probably ain't that relevant to the audience, but should we talk about Kidderminster Harriers or not? No.
I had a message from
doing well.
Hang about the man that has berated Kidderminster Harriers all week. So now you want to talk about it.
For the people listening, we're all us four originally from a little place next to Kidderminster, which is obviously not far from Wolverhampton or whatever. But I hate Kidderminster Harriers. But you lot obviously don't mind. But I'm glad they're doing well. It's good to see a local team get into the fourth round. But I just hate the people who support them.
I agree with you. And the funny thing was, looking at Albion's attendance against Brighton, I think most of the
They're all
Albion crowd
there?
were at Harriers. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's all
Most-
these people who support Man United or support Albion or whoever, but then also go and watch Kidderminster Harriers because
They have got like a core of about 12 diehard fans. We know them.
Yeah.
It was a good win, though.
It was a good win, really. I mean, Reading got battered 7-0 last night as well. Do you see that?
Andy Carroll had 2 absolute screamers chalked off as well, didn't he?
I saw that, Sam. They were good goals as well.
They were quality goals, yeah.
Yeah.
Still got it. The ponytail.
But
that's the thing. I think, Jack, you made the point, didn't you? Saying that it was a couple of weeks ago on the podcast when you're saying that and we're getting covered for TV, but I bet you Football Focus will be there Saturday for the Saturday morning programme, going and visiting Kidderminster Harriers and then not showing the game. And it's exactly what happened.
I think Bailey said the Football Focus thing, but it was just, they should have been on TV in the first place. I will give them that because, they were putting games on just like Man United and Villa, really.
It's
a joke. Millwall. Yeah.
These things like the BBC that want to try and make minority sports and lower level sports and different sports up there and get it on TV. And then they get the opportunity to do that and give them some money to help them. And then what they do is actually they give them 50p and a Freddo to run a show from there. And then we'll show Man United Villa.
It's on ITV and at the FA Cup this year.
No,
it's on ITV.
Oh, yeah, well,
Football Focus is
all doesn't fit my.
I don't like the lot of them.
Communist TV.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't put Cambridge, Newcastle on either, did they?
What a game to miss. I got a 1-0 win, historic, and no one can watch it.
They went strong as well, didn't they, Newcastle?
No one can watch it.
Trippier played, didn't he?
This Newcastle story has the. I know they've still got a very good chance. They've got a few weeks here to get out of it. And I think they'll try and postpone every game they can in January to give them more time to get players in. But it could be gold, this could, because they could honestly spend a lot of money and still go down. If one man can do it, it's Eddie Howe.
I
One man.
I think they're gone.
They played a strong team against Cambridge.
It depends who they buy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think even looking at the table now, it's 3 from 4. And I think they've been quite smart in taking Chris Wood from Burnley because they've got to replace him now. And they're a relegation rival directly. It just depends on whether Watford or someone else can pull themselves away quicker. Because I think Norwich are doomed. I don't hold out much hope for Burnley now if they don't get anybody in to replace Wood. So then it's between Watford and Newcastle to who's less shit.
I still tell you one thing. If you had to back a club to go and shithouse 3 points somewhere to stay up, I'd pick Burnley out of all of them.
Yeah.
They've got experience, haven't they? That's the thing. They've got Premier League experience. They've got an experienced manager. So, yeah, I mean, they shut up shop well.
I know it's to a rival. You can't turn down that money for Chris Wood. He's all right for Burnley, but come on. Jesus. Oh, sorry. The only thing is with Norwich looking like they're already down, do you think they're going to take the cup seriously and knock us out?
I'll talk about that.
They're only 3 points from safety.
Yeah, I suppose.
Albeit with a 36 goal. Sorry, more. That's not that many. 20 goal difference.
I think that shows how crap the bottom 4 teams must be.
I hate that. Like what Paul said, I agree with that. Why is VAR only using the grounds? It's so stupid, that is.
I guess it needs special cameras set up for it. They have to be there all the time. It's like certain cricket grounds.
They should just not use it in the FA Cup. So it's fair on all levels.
Yeah, I agree. Not use it until you get to a stage where all the teams have it left. Yeah, then it's fine.
Something had happened to Man United or to as it did, or Liverpool.
As it did, yeah, true.
And there'd be crying, and there'd have to be a public inquiry, and we wouldn't hear the end of it forever. So I'd love them to go and lose 1-0 to a handball at
you have to get
Cambridge away in a quarter final. It'd be so funny.
That's Sue Gray for his handball. Perfect. Right, okay, we'll leave it there for this week. Good luck if you're going to the match, of course. We'll say goodbye to Harry Mansell.
Goodbye, everyone.
Dan Bayliss.
See you on Saturday.
And Jack Williams.
Bye, everybody.
And it is a goodbye from me. Goodbye.